Hello and welcome to Steve's Backyard Bonsai. Today I'm going to be working on some ancillary tasks, things that need doing but are not very sexy. So I hope you enjoy the video. These are my common bald cypress. These two grown from seed. Everything else is cuttings off of this tree. I have some doubts about whether some things survived a few days without water on some days that were drier than I thought they would be. So we'll see what happens in the spring. There is some natural defoliation going on. I'm going to give it a hand today. And I've talked about this before, but these are going to be going in this mica pot in the spring in some sort of arrangement to simulate a swamp. The only swampy things I have to enhance this are moss and leptonella. And I've got two little nursery pots of some more leptonella to add to it that I've been struggling to keep alive. I'll probably put that rock back in it somehow. And these were outside until just a few days ago. The task at hand is best shown quickly. Okay, all that's left with these is to clean up the surface. I'm going to keep them in the greenhouse. I'm going to coax along the spring growth early so I can get this planting done early. It's something I've wanted to do. I'll also take the moss away from the base or anywhere it's climbing up the trees. Certainly I'm waiting very patiently and very cautiously because these dried, I wouldn't say completely, but I might have to say completely if any of them died. I had high hopes. The good news is I can always get more cuttings. These are doing well, and they're solid in this pot. All right, that's it for this mundane task. Let me pick out another. This is my American hornbeam. It grew well this summer. The leaves, I don't know, they succumbed to some insect or something. I didn't spray. All I'm doing is removing the leaves. I'm trying not to harm any buds that are there. If I see a bud, I'll cut it off instead of pulling. Or you could just cut it off if it's more expedient. This is a tree. I have a few of them that I grew from seed. Oh, I just lopped the end of that off. And then when I was watching Tony's bonsai, I got the courage to wire it. I wanted them as straight trees, but I had a few of them, so I decided to experiment with this one. And I watch Tony all the time. And I mentioned it at the time that I wired up this tree. And Tony was kind enough to respond. Then when Tony passed, I dedicated this tree to him. It's got a long way to go. I'm reluctant to prune any of these extensions until the buds start swelling. I did that one year on one of these trees and the tree died. So I'm not going to touch it until the buds swell. I want to get more twist in this tree somehow, some way. But this tree's done and we'll probably go outside for the rest of the winter. This is my Chinese juniper. This was the front as I saw it. I wanted to turn this branch this way, but I wired the I wired the trunk in the wrong direction for that to work. So I've been wanting to, I got the bend in it that I wanted, but I wanted to rotate this down in this direction and could not do it with the wire going this way. So in order that I do not make the same mistake twice, I want to take this wire off, fix that now, and maybe do a little bit more wiring on this tree, but it's going to winter outdoors. There's plenty I want to do with this. I want to wire this down and around to give some depth to the front of the tree. This will do the same, and this will do the same. So let me clean out the leaves and figure out what I have to do today. This was the first time I used vet tape. Also, when Tony was alive and putting out videos like crazy, I wanted to do something like Tony did. And I miss him. All right, let me get that wire off and get it rewired. All right, now let's see if I can get the movement in this that I want. That brings it forward a bit. This wants to come forward and down a bit. But I got a little bit more rotated, which will help me when I'm crafting these pads in the spring. I got to rotate this one down. Not sure what to do with this one. I've never been sure what to do with this one because it crosses the whole tree. If that goes, this has to come way down. Is there a place at all anywhere where that doesn't cross? I guess right here. Let me get some wire on this. Maybe I can salvage it. Sorry, I meant to take video of me wiring that. Instead, I'll just show you video of me finishing wiring it. All right, what do I want to do with this? I wired it so that I could bring it down a little more. Maybe get a bend in it early on, bring it out front a bit. I'm doing all this to a branch that I've considered cutting off at least 3 times, and I probably will cut off at some point. But oh my goodness. Well, that brought it forward. If this were my front, it could still be my front, but it kind of pokes at you. So there's going to be some, I'm not cutting any foliage now. Not sure what else I want to do with this. I'm going to put it back outside. I'm not doing anything to this, but I just wanted to show you these beautiful fall colors of this Japanese Zelkova. Look at that. Oh, it's just lovely. Truth be known, this is the one I'm most worried about. This is my hazel, confirmed as a hazel by my fellow tree masons out there. This is the one that was the indicator that I may have forgotten to water. It still has green growth at the tips, which I'm hoping is a good sign. This might be a casualty of 2023. I'm hoping for the best. The buds look good. It's been a while since I noticed it. The leaves are going to fall off anyway. This one I am going to keep in the greenhouse. And I will be repotting. This one's been in here for a while. It's not as deep as it looks. There is a plate, like a small salad plate in here. To make a nice shallow root base, which it will have. But it's been in this soil for a while, and it's due to come out. All right, this is all cleaned up, and I'm putting it back on a bench in the greenhouse so I can take good care of it. This is my hilltop boxwood, replete with maple leaves and probably an oak or two in there. It's been outside, haven't trimmed the moss. It's really firm in this pot, probably wants to be, probably wants to have the roots looked at. Just want to clean it off. It's got a lot of moss growing up the side. It's definitely a meticulous job. Comes off easier when it's thick, but boy, does it do a number on the bark. Yeah, the lesson here is keep up with it. How do you know when you have too many trees? When you can't keep up with them. I don't know if you can see this. I hope you can. The bark in this area it looks like it's stripped off. It's certainly not rough like the bark above. But I definitely went too long without stripping this away. Lesson learned. Keep an eye on this. I'm going to do something prettier with this tree. It's a nice tree. Not sure what. I kind of like the hilltop idea. This one spends the winter outside, or has always done so in the past. I just brought it in from outside. It's got all kinds of stuff on the surface. Red maple tree seeds, roots. This grows surface roots like crazy, especially if you have moss on it, which, as you can see, I do not recommend. You don't have to see all this. Okay, let's hope that bark gets rough there again. This tree has a lot of nice characteristics, especially in a miniature landscape. That majestic oak or maple on top of a little hill. This is a nice tree, or it is the start of a nice tree. It has, a nice feature. This is a tree that has grown up with man. As you can see, a man cut off a branch and the tree is making a nice little circle around it. Just like you would see in nature, where a tree comes in contact with humanity. This is also a very, very nice front on this tree. I like representing nature as if man has had some influence on it, because that's how you usually see it anymore. All right, let me put this one outside and see what I want to do next. This is my grafted ginkgo biloba. It's the, let's see, did I bury this? Fockerts Select. The graft doesn't look bad from this angle here. This is the side that I objected to and I tried to carve down. But I'd like to get this going as a bonsai. This is a nice view of it. Now, I'm still unclear about ginkgo bilobas. I don't know if I can get them to branch by simply cutting to a pair of buds. Appears that I or someone else had cut it here and just got another terminal bud that keeps going out here, and there is a terminal bud at the end. But there are buds on either side. So I would like this to, there's one going up and one going down, which is great. I would like to cut it to here. I'm told this is a good time to cut. I'm also going to take the tip off of this. Yeah, when I did some research about this, it appears that late fall is a good time to prune, after the leaves have fallen. And I'm learning, so I'm learning what to do with this species. So I'm leaving space for dieback, and we'll see what happens in the spring. So this one is grafted. I purchased it. The next one I grew from seed. It's funny, I made some low branch cuts and they look like a graft now. Hopefully this will grow out nicely. I may have to do some carving down there at some point. But these branches cross. I mean, this is clearly my apical branch. This has a nice bud here that I would hope would send a branch growing in this direction. But it may just send a leaf growing in that direction. So I don't really understand the species well enough to do a really good job here. But what I will tell you is that I'm going to do something. Here's another case where I used lac balsam as a cut paste. And what has happened when I've used lac balsam is the bark pulls away. So I'm going to be using shoe repair and protective coating. It goes on and it's rubbery, but it dries pretty hard. This is a nice front. I've got two nice, let's call them, we got the primary trunk and the primary branches coming off the trunk. This part bothers me. And I didn't think about that until just now. I am going to take this off. I'll seal it up well. I have a bunch of ginkgo bilobas, some in the ground and some in pots outside that I never did cut down. So I feel that I can experiment with this one and not be so worried about it if this were my front. Well, that's the place to cut. And I'm really bummed that I can't find my grafting knife. So I'm using an X-Acto blade to clean this up. All right, let me get some shoe goo on that. This covers much better. I haven't seen it restrict rollover at all. It's not your conventional cut paste. It doesn't attempt to hide the wound. It stays nice and fresh looking. And I could probably take that down some more. Either side, depending on how it heals. Well, this is the preferred side, I would say. There's a bud right here. And like I said, I don't know if that could be a leaf or a branch. There's a bud here. That could turn into a branch. Who knows? Either way, they're nice and low down. When I say who knows, I don't really mean that. I'm sure a lot of you out there know. I just don't know. Okay, so the buds are close down here. There's kind of a long internode to here, but a way longer internode beyond that. So do I want my primary branching to be even? I don't have anything that goes down low here. So this is the only thing that might possibly head out. You know, and who knows what the front will be. So I'm going to go down to here. That's it for my ginkgo biloba. Big change. And the last thing I want to do today is make sure I got all of the seeds out of these hemlock cones. These were gathered locally on my walk with Luca. And as you can see, there's still a lot of them in here. I'm going to plant these up and maybe get some hemlock trees. Who knows? And here's my seed haul. As you can see, I did pretty good from just a few hemlock cones. All right, so I'll plant these up. I have a tray, a seed tray, with a mixture of bonsai soil and regular potting soil. I'll probably plant them in this front part. All right, let's get these hemlocks planted, and that'll be that for today. Ooh, something crawling around in here. I just saw it. Well, that's it for today. I've gotten all the mundane but meaningful tasks done that need to be done every year about this time. There may be one or two things more that I need to do, and as I do them, I'll bring them to you. Thank you very much for keeping me company in my backyard.